Gavigan. I am reading today from my middle grade novel, The Show Must Go On, which is the sequel to LULU the Broadway Mouse. In this scene, auditions are about to be held for a new cast member, and Lulu has sort of snuck in to help out with auditions. So it's Lulu and then Pete, the stage manager, Susie, the dance captain, and Ricardo, the assistant stage manager. So here we're starting from chapter 9. I know you're going to spy on auditions, so I might as well just preemptively give you permission, Pete says. He pushes his glasses up the bridge of his nose right before he says, permission. This, dear reader, is what we show folk call a button. A physical cue that a musical number or scene is at its end, like how a button is the final thing you do to your jacket before you walk out the door. An example of a button you might be familiar with is at the end of Wicked's One Short Day. The boo, ah, is a button. There are so many examples. Start keeping an eye and an ear out for them. Timing really is everything. I'm not going to argue with you, I say. A piece of advice, take wins when they're handed to you. While I'm sure the girls auditioning today have heard all about LULU the Broadway Mouse, I'd rather them not see you. It's not really professional to have cast members watch auditions, Pete says. I completely agree, I say. Side note, can we discuss how casually Pete referred to me as a cast member? How about I watch from the corner of the bar? I doubt they'll see me, but I'll be able to see them. I may or may not have forced my brothers to pretend to be young actresses auditioning for Jayne's track in order to test sightlines this morning. Okay, back to Pete. That sounds like a good plan, Lulu, Pete says, sipping coffee out of his best dad ever mug. I'm excited to hold auditions in the theater. It'll be like the old days. Things were better back then, simpler. An actor would just show up, wait in line, and they'd get to audition, period. Unless they were a mouse, I say. Unless they were a mouse, yes, Pete says. You fix that. Your ancestors are somewhere looking down on you and they're very proud. You paved the way for future generations. If I allowed myself to succumb to the tears that just formed in my throat, I'd fill a teaspoon in under a minute. They'll be arriving any second, Susie says, striding in wearing character shoes, warm-up attire, and in a Christmas Carol baseball cap. She was in the Madison Square Garden production for like a decade. We ready? Ricardo walks in behind her, scarfing down an egg and cheese on a roll. Show people are funny. They seem to eat breakfast whenever their day begins, be it at 8 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. I'm half expecting Susie to whip out a cup of oatmeal. My brothers will take care of all crumbs later, no worries. Think I'll put the camera here, Ricardo says. He screws his iPhone into a tripod and plops it on top of the bar. I figure we'll dance them, make cuts if necessary. I interrupt Pete. Wait, what? If it's clear one of them can't handle the dance, there's no need to have them sing and read, Susie says, with the coolness of a cucumber who's performed at Radio City, Madison Square Garden, and 5 Broadway theaters. Oh, I say. There's no need to have them sing and read? Hearing this gives me pause, so let's pause while we discuss this. I have very little experience with auditioning, and by little I mean 0, but I have heard audition story after audition story, everything from being cut at an open call for not having the right look, to learning 20 pages of music and only being asked to sing 16 bars, to going through 4 rounds of callbacks only to lose the role to a celebrity who's never performed on stage. I've heard it all, and the only way to sum it up is to say, auditioning can be terrible. To the performer, it seems that their feelings are the last thing the people doing the casting are thinking about, because those people are so focused on getting the casting over and done with, and done well. But Susie, Pete, and Ricardo aren't your run-of-the-mill casting people, and this isn't a regular audition. I feel, in this moment, that I must speak up for my fellow performers. It's just, listen, I know it's not my place to say, and I know I've never actually auditioned before, but Pete slides his glasses back down the bridge of his nose. Go ahead, Lulu. I heard through the rumor mill that these girls have known about this audition since last week. That probably means they've been rehearsing nonstop since then. They've been going over and over it, probably even in their sleep. If I had been rehearsing for 5 days and then wasn't even asked to perform what I had rehearsed, This is kind of how it's done, Lulu, Ricardo says, crumpling up his egg and cheese wrapper and throwing it into the garbage can with an actual swoosh sound, which, awesome, fulfills my sports viewing quota for the month. I know it's normally how it's done, I say, but no one from casting is here. You guys are running this, so can't you make an exception? Treat these girls the way you'd want to be treated if you were the ones auditioning? Hearing this makes the expressions on all three of their faces shift slightly. Auditions are what turned me from an actor into a stage manager, Ricardo says. You were an actor? I ask. I studied Meisner, Ricardo says. That's Meissner to you. This joke officially qualifies Ricardo for fatherhood. I don't miss auditioning, Susie says. Cut after cut, hour after hour in crowded dance studios. She stares off into the distance like she's envisioning a room full of mirrors and long-legged dancers all desperate for a job. Please, theater gods, please let Susie break into the music in the mirror from a chorus line. My daughter's about to graduate from Carnegie Mellon, Pete says, sighing exhaustedly at the idea that someday someone might cut his daughter before she's given the chance to sing and read, simply because her double pirouette wasn't up to par. He pushes his glasses back up his nose and says, let's dance them all together, then we'll bring them upstairs one by one to do the scene work at the back of the house and sing with Michael in the pit. Lulu, you're welcome to join if you can find a place to stay out of sight. If I can find a place? The hooligans and I scoped out a dozen no-one-will-see-me areas around the theater to prepare for this afternoon, but it's adorable that Pete thinks otherwise. Pete, you have visitors at the stage door, Rosa's voice chirps through the lower lobby's speakers. I'll get them, Susie says. Her legs are so long, I swear she gets to the lobby stairs in 3 turned-out strides. Here we go, Pete says. Places, Lulu. I tuck in behind the bar, and before you can say, give Julie Andrews a Tony already, 5 girls, all way shorter than Amanda, parade into the lower lobby, just one shoe change away from auditioning for a Broadway show. And that's a little bit of The Show Must Go On.